राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Lalita Vishakha, Jaya Radhesham, Lalita Vishakha, Jaya Radhesham. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. जय युग धर्म नाम संकीर्तन की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are reading Canto 10, Chapter 62, the meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. These are the concluding verses, text 27 till 33. So 33 we will chant together and remaining verses I will chant myself. Anapāyibhir, asmābhir, guptāyāś gṛhe prabho, kanyāyā dūṣaṇaṁ pumbhir, duṣprekṣyāyā na vidmahe. We have been carefully watching over her, never leaving our post, O Master. So we cannot understand how this maiden, whom no man can even see, has been corrupted within the palace. Purport. The ācāryas explain that the word anapāyibhir can mean either never going away or never deluded. Also, if we take the alternate reading, duṣprekṣyāyā instead of duṣprekṣyāyā, the guard referred to Usha as she whose wicked girlfriend has been sent on a mission. 28. Tata prayatito bano duhitu shuta dūṣaṇā tvaritha kanyāyāḥ prapto drakshidya dūdvaham. Very agitated to hear of his daughter's corruption, Banasur rushed at once the maiden's quarter, here he saw the pride of Yadu's Aniruddha. Kamatmajam tam bhunaika sundaram shyamam vishangabaram ambujekṣanam brihadbhujam kundala kuntala tvisha Smitashvalokena cha manditananam divyantam akshay priyaya minaya tadanga sangastana kunkumasrajam bhavordadhanam madhumallika tasyagrasi namaveksha vismitaha. Banasur saw before him Cupid's own son, possessed of unrivaled beauty, with dark blue complexion, yellow garments, lotus eyes, and formidable arms. His face was adorned with effulgent earrings and hair, and also with smiling glances. As he sat opposite his most auspicious lover, playing with her at dice, there hung between his arms a garland of spring jasmines that had been speared with kumkum powder from her breast when he had embraced her. Banasura was astonished to see all this. Purport. Banasura was amazed at Aniruddha's boldness. The prince was calmly sitting in the young girl's quarter, playing with Bana's supposedly unmarried daughter. In the context of the strict Vedic culture, this was an unbelievable thing to witness. 31. Satam pravistam pritam anapāyibhir pateranikhedavalokyya madhava udyamya mauravam parikvam vyavasthito yathantako dandadharo jighamshaya. Seeing Banasur enter with many armed guards, Aniruddha raised his iron club and stood resolute, steady to strike anyone who attacked him. He resembled death personified, holding his rod of punishment. Purport. The club was not made of ordinary iron, but of a special kind called muru. Text 32. Duṣprekṣyāyā tan parita parasarpata suno yatha sukari yuthopanad tehanyamana bhavanad vinirgata nirbhinna murdhoru bhujan pradundruvuhu. As the guards converged on him from all sides trying to capture him, Aniruddha struck them just as the leader of a pack of boars strikes back at dogs. Hit by his blows, the guards fled the palace, running for their lives with shattered heads, thighs and arms. Text 33. So we chant? We can chant together. Tam nagapāsher bali nandano bali nantam swasainyam kapito babandaha uṣābrisham shoka vishāda vivala badam nisham yashru kalakshi arup sutrit. Chant. The Bali. Intam sasvainyam kapito babandaha. Uṣābrisham shoka vishāda vivala padam naksham yahru kalakshi arotsit. Nogali nantam sasanyam kupito babandaha uṣābrisham shoka vishāda vivala padam nisamya sukilakshi aursit. तं नागपाशैर्बलिनन्दनं Mataji's. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. Sri Chaitanya, oh, I have to read this, sorry. Word by word meaning? Tam, him, Nagapashe, with the mystic. Naga, with the mystic Naga news. Balinandana, the son of Bali, Banasura. Bali, powerful. Nantam, as he was striking. Swa, at his own. Sainyam, army. Kupitaha, anger. Prabandhaha, he captured. Usha, Visham, extremely. Shoka, by sorrow. Vishada, and discouragement. Vivala, overwhelmed. Baddham, captured. Nisamya, hearing. Ashrukala, with tear drops. Akshi, in her eyes. Arautsit, cried. Translation and purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But even as Aniruddha was striking down the army of Bana, that powerful son of Bali angrily caught him with the mystic Naga Pasha ropes. When Usha heard of Aniruddha's capture, she was overwhelmed with grief and depression. Her eyes filled with tears and she wept. Purport. The ācāryas explained that Banasura could not actually capture the powerful grandson of Lord Krishna. However, the Lord's Lila Shakti or pastime potency allowed this to happen so that the event described in the next chapter could take place. Thus ends the purport of the humble servants of divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the 10th canto, 62nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, we read the last sentences of the last purport of this chapter, where it's written that the Lord's Lila Shakti or pastime potency allowed this to happen so that the event described in the next chapter could take place. So, this 10th chapter is a very special whole 10th canto in the sense that till the time we reach here, we should be beyond the modes of nature. Then we can understand what is described here. Otherwise, we might keep analyzing as per our modes we are present in. So, it is little inconceivable to understand what is happening here. So, this is the conclusion verse is very nicely explaining that it is allowed this to happen because Krishna wants it. So all these pastimes, right from the beginning of this chapter, the way Lord incarnated, the way He's going to incarnate again, now Janmashtami is coming. So all these pastimes, to understand this, we have to be beyond the material modes, because Krishna is not within the modes, He's beyond the modes. So to understand Him, we have to be beyond these material modes of nature. So we have some verses from Bhagavad Gita to read on this. One says that no law is applicable to Krishna. He is beyond the modes. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, chapter 2, text 28. In Purport, Prabhupada writes that even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who are included in the lists of demigods, are bound by the modes. Only Vishnu, who is explained to be holding the mode of goodness, but he is not in mode of goodness, he is just representing mode of goodness. He himself is beyond the mode of goodness. So, even though he accepts the quality of goodness of the material world, he is still transcendental to all the material modes. And then Prabhupada gives an example that how in a prison house there are prisoners, there are managers, and they both move in the prison, but the law applicable to both of them are different. So the managers and the prisoners are bound by the laws of the king, but even though the king sometimes come in the prison, he is not bound by the laws of prison house. So whatever pastime Krishna is performing with our current mindset of the modes we are into makes us think that how can Krishna do this, how this can happen, how this is not something acceptable by any moral standards or social standards and all different kind of our understanding given by the society. But this canto is compared to be the face or the loving smile of the Lord. So to understand this is a process we have to go through. And Srila Prabhupada explains in one of his purport in Srimad Bhagavatam that how we should approach Srimad Bhagavatam and how we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from I think 2nd canto. Yeah. I think it is 2:12. Translation says, the Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glancing of His smiling face are all indications of His extensive benedictions. One must therefore concentrate on this transcendental form of the Lord as long as the mind can be fixed on Him by meditation. It's a long purport. We are just reading the last paragraph of the purport. And Prabhupada explains here, one should not try to go, this is about approaching Krishna, taking darshan from the lotus feet, and then this starts like that. One should not try to go upward artificially without seeing for himself how much he has been released from the sex desire. The smiling face of the Lord is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and there are many upstarts who at once try to begin with the 10th canto, and especially with the 5 chapters which delineate the Ras Leela of the Lord. This is certainly improper. So many times it happens that in the assembly of this, when we are reading Bhagavatam together, maybe I have never read complete Bhagavatam, I am still reading 3rd canto or 2nd canto, but when we come here, we hear the 10th canto. So it is not easy to relate with what we are hearing, even though the speaker is trying to communicate the message the way Srila Prabhupada has explained. Still it's difficult. This is what we are reading here. By such improper study or hearing of Bhagavatam, the material opportunists have played havoc by indulgence in sex life in the name of Bhagavatam. This vilification of Bhagavatam is rendered by the acts of the so-called devotees. One should be free from all kinds of sex desire before he tries to make a show of recital of Bhagavatam. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur clearly defines the import of purification as cessation from sex indulgence. He says, Yatha yatha dhischa sudhyati vishaya lampatyam tyajati tatha tatha dharayet iti chitta suddhi taratamineva dhyana taratmayam uktam. And as one gets free from the intoxication of sex indulgence by purification of intelligence, one should step forward for the next meditation, or in other words, the progress of meditation on the different limbs of the transcendental body of the Lord should be enhanced in proportion to the progress of the purification of the heart. So we understand from this that we should just focus on the lotus feet of the Lord when we are taking darshan. That is very helpful. And because there is no difference in Lord's lotus feet or his hands or his face, everything is same. There is no difference, it's absolute. So this is what is recommended in this purport by Prabhupada. The conclusion is that those who are still entrapped by sex indulgence should never progress to meditation above the feet of the Lord. Therefore, now it connects with Srimad Bhagavatam. The recital of Srimad Bhagavatam by them should be restricted to the first and second canto of the great literature. One must complete the purificatory process by assimilating the contents of the first 9 cantos. Then one should be admitted into the realm of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So at least we now understand that what it means or what it will take to understand the 10th canto. Without that we may try, but as Prabhupada is explaining here, it is not possible. So a real serious study of Bhagavatam is required under the guidance of senior Vaishnavas who can explain us the real purport of the pastime, because ultimately the whole canto speaks about one common theme, that Krishna is the cause of all causes. There are no rules for Krishna. Everything is happening by the sweet will of the Lord. These are the main points. If we understand, then things still make sense to us. And then we can try to move ahead, as Prabhupada is explaining, going by canto, and also many times Prabhupada explained that first we have to understand Bhagavad Gita. That is the preliminary understanding. So till the time we understand, because it is very helpful to understand that we are not this body but a spirit soul. The more we read Bhagavad Gita, even Bhagavatam, all pastimes we are reading, the central theme of instruction start with the instruction that we are not this body but a spirit soul. And sometimes we think that how to understand that I am spirit soul. But then the answer is obvious, that the process given by Srila Prabhupada is centered around soul. So who will wake up early in the morning 3 o'clock? Nobody would like to do it. It is certainly that action speaks that we are acting as a soul in the morning. We are waking up for the purification. It is not for any mental enjoyment or any bodily pleasure. It's an austerity. So the process given by Srila Prabhupada very much helps us to understand this point of that we are a soul. Till the time we start meditating like this, on the basic principles that no, I am not this body, okay, what I am thinking is for the mind, I am trying to satisfy my mind, or I am trying to satisfy the soul. What are we trying to do with our thoughts, with our action? If we are conscientious about this, then by practice under the guidance of senior devotees, we will certainly try to realize this point. Like a few days back, we were reading with a few devotees, and he said that I got angry and slapped my son, just instantly. He said, but then after I slapped him, I thought, why I did this? So this is self-realization. The moment we start analyzing our challenges, that is progression towards our self-realization activity. Otherwise, what is self-realization? This is what it is. That the moment we act on bodily platform or the moment we act on mental platform, if we become present to that error we have done, that is our progress in self-realization. And as a soul now we are analyzing the situation which will gradually help us to think more of Krishna. That is what this whole process of devotional service is. That we can think of Krishna. Whatever we do, we should be thinking of Krishna, not anything else. Because if we do anything else, it is certainly on the platform of body and soul. It cannot be anything else. So Krishna is asking us to invest our mind in Krishna. He's telling, think of me, man mana bhav mad bhakto. Think of me, that is his point. And I think in the first canto also, in Bharat, Jad Bharat, one of the Purport Prabhupada writes that mind has lot of demands, but he says just neglect it. Many times we think what to do, but he's telling neglect it. With intelligence we have to understand that this is not going to benefit me. Me means as a spirit soul, it is not going to benefit me. So just neglect. Okay, I don't want to go to the class. Oh, I did a lot of service yesterday. I can sleep today more. This is all coming from the mind. This has nothing to do with the soul. If we are present to this thought process, certainly we will come in the morning program. But when we start hearing mind as if I am the mind, then I prefer to sleep. If I start thinking that this is coming from me, then I will prefer to take rest on that day and avoid going to Mangal Arati. So this distinction between the demand from the body, demand from the mind, and the need of the soul has to be very, very clear to a sadhaka. This is what this purport is speaking. What we read, it is all talking about demand of the body, sex desire, indulgence in any activity which is to satisfy our lust or greed or anger or this anartha. It is on the bodily or mental platform, and it is going to take us away from Krishna. So a serious and sincere meditation is required on our every moment activity. You have to observe it. If you are not observing, that means we are giving up to the mind. And then mind is very expertly capturing us. If I have a weak point, for example, eating specific kind of a food, it is prasad, but still I am getting attached to specific, then mind can trap us in that process where we will start fighting for that prasad or that food, or we'll try to create complaint about that situation if it is not palatable. So many things mind will start bringing it. So it is very subtle way. Actually it's a subtle body, mind, intelligence falls into a subtle body. It works in a very subtle way. So we really need to be observing it, and we need guidance of senior devotees who are successfully doing this. Otherwise, on our own, we cannot successfully transcending this process, this challenge with the mind. We cannot do it ourselves, not possible. We have to surrender to sincere devotees. We have to take shelter of devotees. That is the first and the foremost requirement. If we cannot put faith in senior Vaishnava's instruction, then we cannot, that means we are listening to the mind. If my authority says me something and if I start analyzing it, what does it mean? I am thinking to my mind. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. We are questioning the authority now, and then we start questioning Krishna. Then we start questioning Krishna's instruction. Then we start questioning Krishna's pastimes. Then we start questioning the whole process of devotional service, that I am chanting for 25 years, but still there is no taste. It's very easy, this idea to come from the mind is the simplest thing to happen in our life, simplest thing. So we have to be very careful what to accept and what to neglect. And if we cannot do it, then take help of devotees who can help us to do it. It is very important. If we cannot do it, we will be certainly getting trapped in the process, and we will think that no, I'm doing very good. I come to the program, I'm doing this, I'm chanting, I'm doing seva. But if the mind is still focusing on personal enjoyment of getting some name, fame, recognition, appreciation, still we are trapped. Still we are trapped. So these first 9 cantos, if we keep reading, like Parikshit Maharaj, he is like king of the whole world, right? He's emperor. He's not a king. He's an emperor of the whole planet. But when the small Brahmana's son cursed him, if he is on the bodily platform or he was analyzing with the mind, he would say, how can this rascal do this? And could have counter-cursed him. He was devotionally also strong. But what he depicted, no, this is Krishna's arrangement. Let me go through it. Let me go through it. Despite of that high status he was having as a devotee, as a material status, he is a king. Still, he accepted the situation. So this only comes when we are focusing on ourselves as a spirit soul. If we are focusing on our needs and demand of the body and mind, we will always take a wrong decision. It's very easy to take a wrong decision. So that is austerity. Not to listen to the mind, needs and body, that is austerity. Not that we have to go somewhere, stand on one leg like we have Hiranyakashipu doing it. We are not supposed to be doing that. We are happy in association of devotees, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in association of devotees, taking darshan of the beautiful deities every day. We are happy doing this. We don't need anything more than this. But only we need to observe is the activities of the mind. Like mind can say, what kind of a pastime is this? An unmarried girl bringing a boy in her room and they are living together. What kind of a pastime is this? So, it is Krishna's arrangement. That's the answer. That's the only answer. But we can understand this if we understand the previous cantos, where it is clearly spoken by all the authorities that Ekala Ishvara Krishna or Sabhritya. We keep hearing from our authorities this point that only Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the authority. Our purpose is to glorify Him. So that's the whole endeavor of Bhagavatam, to understand this point that Krishna is the only well-wisher, is the only friend we have. He's full-time working for our benefit. That's the only agenda of Krishna, to help us out, to bring us nearer to Him, more and more closer to His lotus feet. This is what Krishna is trying every moment. But are we acknowledging it? That is our devotional service. That is what is expected from us. And similarly, we cannot understand the pastimes of pure devotees. How Srila Prabhupada was operating also, many fail to understand. As an ācārya, he has depicted so many wonderful pastimes where people cannot relate what he was doing. Like he started initiating devotees in the Western countries, which nobody could understand what is he doing. But he was so focused on the instruction of his spiritual master that anything that was taking him closer to fulfill that instruction, he was ready to go through it. Despite of all the challenges that were thrown from his god brothers, from the society of others, anybody, he was ready for that. So, with his mind, he was very much focused on the instruction of his spiritual master. He was never getting deviated from, not even a moment he was deviating from it. Not for a moment he was deviating from it. So that is the success of a sadhaka, that he follows the instructions of the spiritual master. And that way he can come to a situation where, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, this pastime will be revealed to us. Then this pastime will be revealed, the real purport of this pastime will be revealed to us. Otherwise, nothing will make sense in this pastime to us. Okay, Prabhupada has very expertly described it all, but still, because of our degraded consciousness, whatever level each of us are at, we analyze it in our perspective also, but we have to stop that. That is what is required now. We have to stop that because we are in the modes of material, we are bound by the modes. This 7.13 is one verse. Tribhir guna mair bhave evi sarvam idam jagat mohitam na vijanati mamebhya param avyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So Krishna is speaking this. And a small part of the purport. So those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. So even if we are situated in goodness, we cannot go beyond the impersonal realization of the Lord. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord is His personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. So this is very hope-giving sentence, that if we are in Krishna consciousness, then we are liberated, then we are beyond the modes. So Prabhupada keeps emphasizing this point. Be Krishna conscious. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So if we read any of his books, he's so much emphasizing this point of Krishna consciousness. Meaning thereby, whatever actions we are initiating, from that moment we have to think of Krishna. Not that after we will finish the activity, okay, now I am giving my results to Krishna. That is what is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. It is not Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is from the word go. From the beginning, we think of Krishna and start our service. So, okay, I wake up in the morning, I should think that now I have to clean this body which belongs to Krishna. It is Krishna's temple. Krishna resides in it. So I have to clean it. This way I can become Krishna conscious. Then I start decorating the temple. I put tilaka. We are chanting Om Keshavaya Nama Om Madhav. We are chanting Krishna's name. But that meditation has to come. That we are doing it for Krishna's pleasure. That is what Krishna consciousness is all about. Not that anything special is asked from us. All our actions we are performing should be to glorify Krishna, not to glorify my own endeavor. If I am speaking a class to glorify myself, it can be a cause of entanglement for me. But if the cause of speaking now is glorifying Krishna, is to serve the devotees present here, then I am becoming Krishna conscious. Same activity. That is why Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita that to a person observing a devotee working and a non-devotee working will not understand. They are doing the same action, but the results are different, what they are experiencing internally. So Krishna consciousness is most importantly working on our internal self, on our subtle body. We have to work on that aspect. If you want to be really achieving this platform of liberation, as Prabhupada writes in his purport. So when our actions are for Krishna, we are liberated. When our actions are not within the frame of body and mind, we are liberated. Not that we have to leave this situation and then go somewhere to be called liberated. That is not the point. Prabhupada has emphasized so much on this. Because in general, common understanding is if we give up this body, then we will be liberated. But it's a false understanding. It's a false understanding. If we are not living a life which is Krishna conscious, then how will we be liberated? Not anything miracle is going to happen at the end of our life. Nothing is going to happen like that. So it's a whole program which we have to follow, and simultaneously depending on mercy of devotees, Vaishnavas, Krishna and Guru, we can make progression. Otherwise, as we were hearing this morning, a devotee went out for preaching, but if he doesn't seek blessing from Guru and Krishna, if he doesn't seek blessing of the Vaishnavas, still in the mode of ignorance and passion, he cannot continue long. He cannot be fixated in Krishna consciousness. So the program Srila Prabhupada gave, it was like full program from morning till Bhagavatam class, then taking prasadam. In prasadam also we are hearing about Krishna's pastimes, and then going for services thinking about Krishna, what we have done. And then again coming in the evening, having nice beautiful Sandhya Arati, hearing Bhagavad Gita, and then some prasad and then sleep, thinking of Krishna. So we have to follow the program. We cannot say, oh, this is for neophytes. It's not like that. It is not. This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that a person who joins today and a person who is serving for 50 years, the process is same. They are doing the same function. No change. The activity will remain the same, but the absorption in Krishna keeps increasing. That is what we have to work on. Am I becoming more and more absorbed in Krishna, thought of Krishna, or am I becoming still absorbed in my own mental and bodily needs? What are we absorbed in? We have to be analyzing that with the help of devotees who can help us to get out of this. And it's very easy. It's very, very easy to do it, provided we decide to do it. Provided we are alert on this aspect of coming out of it. It's very easy to do it. And the whole readings of Bhagavatam is all about this, that every single pastime, Prahlad Maharaj, he could have done whatever he wanted to do, but he was submissive. Amrish Maharaj, he just went through what Durvasa wanted to do. He just went through it. He didn't rebel, he didn't complain. Rather, he was blaming himself. That because of me, Durvasa has to go through so much of challenges. Yudhishthira Maharaj, enthroned after the battlefield of Kurukshetra, is now crying, oh my God, because of me so many devotees died, so many soldiers could die just because of my enjoyment. This is how a devotee thinks. Not that I am best, I do no mistake. Prabhu is wrong, he is wrong. They don't understand what is Krishna and they are just trying to push things on me. This way, whatever they might be doing, but I am not progressing. That is very clear. If I am finding faults in others, I am not progressing. That's very clear. I might be very expert in finding these mistakes because of my so-called intelligence, but I am not progressing. If I am not doing it for glorifying Krishna, the purpose has to be to glorify Krishna, whatever we do. Our focus has to be on that aspect, not that I know better than him. If that is the purpose, the whole endeavor to progress in Krishna consciousness is defeated. The purpose has to be very clear. The purpose is to glorify Krishna. That is the purpose. And one last point, we should be following Krishna's instructions, not imitating Krishna. So we have something from Chaitanya Leela to read on this, because sometimes it becomes difficult. So what should I do? Krishna says something, or maybe he's doing something else. Some confusion is always there. So Prabhupada makes it very clear that those who are neophytes, or even a little progress in devotional service, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 17.31, should not try to imitate the Mahabhagavata. Rather, they should only follow in his footsteps. This means follow the instructions. The word anukara means imitating, and anusara means trying to follow in the footsteps. We should not try to imitate the activities of a Mahabhagavat or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our best effort should be exerted in trying to follow them according to our ability. The Mahabhagavata's heart is completely freed from material contamination, and he can become very dear even to fierce animals like tigers and elephants. And the whole thing explains how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made every animal dance in the Jharkhand forest. So, but if we try to do it, then we know what will happen. We will not come back. So the purpose is that we should focus on Sankirtan. We should focus on chanting the glories of the Lord. This is from Bhagavad Gita now, chapter 3, text 24. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting over the hill as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions. But we may not imitate him at any time. So, this is what is expected from a neophyte or a sadhaka, that you follow what is given in the Shastra. We don't try to do what Krishna did. That is not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to do what Krishna wants. So simply by following the instructions of the pure devotees of the Lord, we can become pure. Nothing much we have to do. It's a simple process. The mind may say whatever it has to say, just keep neglecting and we focus on our purpose of life, what is coming from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and with the help of devotees, try to follow as much as possible. And then we can understand what it means by the will of the Lord, how it is explained here that all the pastimes are like that. So thank you very much. We have some time for wonderful comments from the Vaishnavas present here. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Saying Krishna consciousness.
Wherever the
chanting of Krishna's name is going on, like say one is at home and he's very comfortable chanting and worshipping his deities, instead of coming to mix with so many people that give him trouble and, too much anxiety. So what is the importance of actually participating in the temple or Krishna consciousness in that capacity, or participating in Krishna consciousness just at your own space, because it's less anxiety and less, conflict in your brain?
For me, it is like going to the school. When we want to learn ABCD, we don't do it at home. We go to the school. So this is a wonderful association we get. So we get a minimum training of 3, 4, 5 hours doing together, and then when I am at home, I can concentrate. I understand what we should be doing rest of the day, and then I can do more reading and chanting. But I don't think that if I am just doing it at home, it is possible for me to do it. It is always helpful to do in association of devotees, because it's like a school environment. It becomes easy to do. Everybody is doing, so we feel enthusiastic to do it, even though the mind is dragging us away many times, most of the time. But still, where are you going? Oh, okay, I am coming for the class. Just somebody asked. Krishna arranges things like that. My mind is just taking me back home. No, Prabhu, where are you going? It's a nice class. Okay, I am coming, Prabhu. So when we are in the temple, it is very, very helpful, no doubt about it. And Prabhu is leading this as an example. All our wonderful management team, they are always leading this as an example. They are always present in the full morning program. It's very inspiring. Yes, Maharaj, here.
Hare Krishna. You see, when we come to the class, when we come to the morning program, it becomes more nectarian. You churn. You can read the Bhagavatam at home, but it's not the same when we hear and when we see you. I can hear in the FM, in the ashram, but it's not the same. So when we come here, the nectar is being churned. It becomes sweeter and sweeter. That's why the FM, I don't know, but they can hear from YouTube, but still it's not the same. When you're here, you become more absorbed.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. And we also hear that we need mercy of the Lord, but the mercy of the Lord means association of devotees. That's the real mercy we get when we are associated. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is related to one example, like suppose one devotee is there, he's getting early in the morning.
Okay. One devotee is?
Yeah, as you mentioned, our action is more important. So the devotee is getting up and he's preparing, okay, let me do the morning program, and then he's going for job, he's earning the money. And with that money, he's dovetailing all his sense gratification, like eating prasadam, he's offering bhoga. Dovetailing is involved in that, and he's spiritualizing everything. So this kind of action is come under pure devotional service or karma mixed bhakti?
As I understand, pure devotional service is you're always thinking of Krishna. Like Arjuna was asked to fight, but Krishna said, think of me and fight. So whatever activity you are doing, you have to think of Krishna. That is a prerequisite requirement. If you cannot do that, then certainly there are some modes involved in that. It is a mishra, some mixture is there. But we are going through that process, and we have to keep trying. But that nowhere means that the process is not working, because we have what we were before we came in association of devotees and what we are now, we see a big change. So now we have to become more serious. As we were discussing yesterday in the class, that when we joined, we were chanting 16 rounds, we were reading a couple of hours a day. But even after 50 years, if we still are doing the same thing, that means we are not getting more absorbed. The time we are giving for devotional service should increase. We all need that promotion in our life. Then it's helpful then, right? But if we are still sticking there, sitting on the 16 rounds of chanting and reading one verse of Bhagavad Gita because Guru Maharaj told me like that, it's not going to work. We have to increase it. The appetite, the soul has appetite of 24 hours. Prabhupada said 24 hours engaging in hearing and chanting, serving Krishna. So it has to reach to that level gradually. Yes, Maharaj.
See, more than just thinking of Krishna, the grihasthas especially, as much as possible, 24 hours a day, is that they should become detached by giving the fruits, some parts of the fruits of their labor to Krishna, spreading Krishna consciousness. Instead of, yes, I'm trying to become Krishna conscious, but I'm also keeping the fruits of my labor, then it will not work. So we have to learn, especially the grihastas. It's an ashram where you learn how to become detached. Not just becoming Krishna conscious. As they say, or what? Krishna sees what you give, but Krishna sees more what you're keeping. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all very much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.